Well, I don't know what the 1-year anniversary gift is, but I guess I should look it up. Casey, we've made it through a whole year.
Well, happy anniversary, by the way.
Happy anniversary to you. And they said we wouldn't last. Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
It's the 1-year anniversary edition of the In-Ring Wrestling Podcast. It was a year ago that we launched this thing. And little did we know that we would continue on, and it would continue to, well, we did know it would continue to grow, but it would take a while. And we're slowly but surely getting there. And
Sure.
that's Casey Thompson. He's the one who came up with this crazy idea. I'm Kevin Kelly. I'm just the voice guy.
Yeah,
but
the
Casey,
voice. Speaking of the voice, did you hear about Bob Caudle passed away, 95 years old?
I did.
He was a voice of a generation.
Did. He sure was. If you grew up in the Carolinas in the 70s,
sure.
You knew Bob Caudle and Rich Landrum. Those were your guys.
Yeah.
But Bob was, I never got to meet him.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow. I never was at it because he did conventions well into his 80s, but I was never booked on a convention that he was on. And so therefore I never met him. But from all accounts, and was like the super family man. Wife of 60 some odd years.
Wow, that's hard in the wrestling business.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how much he was in the wrestling business. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he was a local. He was a local sportscaster.
Yeah,
and did the wrestling on the side. Then I guess the wrestling kind of took over. But
we probably went to TVs.
I'm sure, but with my thin hair, it reminds me of a story that Jim Ross told me about Bob Caudle. And he was always very self-conscious, I guess, of his comb-over type of deal. So they were in Baltimore for a pay-per-view. It was Caudle and Jim Ross on the call. And the way JR described it, they were getting ready to do their opening stand-up. And as luck would have it, a fan, because it's Baltimore, why not? A fan threw an egg, I guess, and hit Bob in the side of the comb over, and so it went shooting up.
Wow.
I think. Yeah, I think that's how JR described it.
Wow.
Yeah. But
back when they used to have the show open with announcers and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
How hard
is
it
not as much as having Michael Cole running around, jumping up and down, and doing all the entrances for all the wrestlers and everything.
Yeah,
like Jey Uso and all that.
It's all right. None of that bothers me.
Did Vince allow that, or was that after Vince, you think?
I would probably say after. I couldn't tell you a timeline of when they started to do it.
Yeah.
But that just, I could imagine Vince saying, that's probably not right for the announcer to do that.
Right.
He was more of a traditionalist when it came to the chair.
Right.
But then again, he'd be the lunatic enough to do it, or have well, this isn't right for anybody, but I'll do it. I'll show you that it's not right.
Right.
I'll drink all this liquor, kids. I'll show you that it's terrible to drink. Oh,
yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
So 1 year of story. We lasted 1 year. We haven't ran out of stories yet.
We haven't even scratched the surface.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, all the stuff you forgot.
Yeah. Yeah. Just all the stuff I remembered from doing the show is amazing.
We've resuscitated some brain cells and brought the memories back, which is great. And by the way, I have got to compliment you on that display of championship gold behind you.
Oh, my
God. Beard. Oh, yes. It's the beard.
Yes.
That display looks awesome. Okay, so what is so I'm doing the squares now, okay? So the square that is directly above your head, that one, what is that?
That is the United States NWA United States Championship, the one they call the Lex U.S. Championship.
Okay, and what is to its right? on the top row. No,
This
his
one?
right. No, you're right.
This one.
There you go. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay. That is the Mid-Atlantic version of the NWA World Tag Team Championship.
Okay, so that was a belt that the Andersons held frequently, right?
Well,
Johnny Weaver, George Becker.
Ric Flair and Blackjack Mulligan.
Oh,
Yeah, I think Ricky Steamboat and Jay Youngblood.
gotcha.
Yeah,
And then below that one,
that is an old Southern Heavyweight Wrestling Championship.
so just a
It was an
territory.
NWA,
Yeah.
territory one. Yeah.
So a random territory belt,
Right. I think.
one that Nick Goulas may have had in his desk drawer or something like that.
Right. Exactly. And
And
this is, which was held by Mike Graham and Steve Kern, the Florida versions of the United States Heavyweight Tag Team Championship.
wow.
And this one is the WWF World Heavyweight Championship held by Bruno Sammartino.
Wow. And of
And
course, I know the one above that. That's iconic.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a good one. Is the NWA National Tag Team Championship. So Arn and Tully would have held that. I'm sure.
Ole and Arn held it.
Ole and Arn. Yeah, I think Ole and Arn had that the most. Probably.
Yep.
I would imagine Cornette's guys, the Midnight Express, would have it.
I don't know if that title was still around.
And this
What's that
that is the one of Hogan's world titles, one of the ones from like I think 85, 84, somewhere in there, one of the bigger ones.
Okay, wow.
So it's more to come. Yeah, a lot of more to come. It's never going to end.
Yeah.
It's a habit that I'm like full-fledged into. I you know what? Me and my girl were talking, she's like, you don't drink, you don't gamble, you don't do this, so might as well do something that I get more than one thing out of it. It's bringing content to the show because we've discussed that once everything gets going and onto our second year, we'll once in a while have a segment. We'll say we'll take the U.S. title and it'd bring where we can talk about the belt, maybe the belt maker, and talk about the history of the belt. All the champions have held it. So Magnum had that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we can go off on this stuff, and then I get to click things that I like, and so it's it's fun.
I think it's another exercise in stirring your memories and keeping you cognitively active. And for those of you who are just joining us on this journey, Casey Thompson, of course, had a long in-ring career. And for a lot of his in-ring career, he would be the guy that would be currently in ring.
Oh.
Yeah. And then would be looking up at the lights later on. One of those classic enhancement wrestlers who's probably had over 100 matches at least with WCW, with WWF, at least.
More. Yeah. Definitely
and
more.
While he was also, wrestling full time throughout the 90s and early 2000, and was getting racked in the head a lot with the chairs and other blunt instruments, as was the time, and as a result has dulled a couple of edges, and we're sharpening them here. That's what we do every week on a Sunday live.
Absolutely.
And then of course in clip form on the YouTube shorts. I've loved this journey because I've seen your growth as a storyteller and as a historian, which has been really great.
Which is crazy
I'm sure
to
some
hear.
of it was but I'm sure some of it was comfort. At first it's like and then the recall may not have been where it needed to be, but over time the reps of doing it has really kind of loosened things up, and now it's it's great. And all the things that you're doing honor the sport that you love so much, that you grew up as a kid watching and wanting to be a part of.
Yeah.
And that's really what this past year has been, and beyond, of course, continuing on from here. But yeah,
And
that's
it
one of
doesn't
the
hurt
things.
when I get up in the morning either.
That's true.
Yeah,
I
that's
always
nice.
told the guys, so when guys would come and do guest commentary with me, either in Ring of Honor or in New Japan, I would say, hey, hurts a lot less sitting here, doesn't it? You don't take near as many bumps, do you? Telling you
Yeah.
what, when you don't want to do the wrestling thing anymore, you might want to think about doing this. Because talking about it is sure as hell a lot better than doing it. Although doing it gets you a special rush, so they say.
Was there any one particular person that was a guest commentator that you like, you know what? Surprisingly, he was really good, and I'd love to have him back another time.
Oh, more than most, really.
Oh, really?
There were only a couple of duds, where
Oh,
it's like,
okay.
um,
Who was the
but
worst one that were like, you know what? So stick to the ring.
okay, so the worst one, and God rest his soul, was Lanny Poffo.
Oh,
Lanny's got himself booked, and it's a long story, but Lanny got himself booked. And unbeknownst to him, it was when I started in New Japan, I was kind of removed from the history of it, but he was removed, right? So he hadn't done commentary since the 80s
oh, God.
and
Was it on his dad's program?
no, he did some stuff as the Genius.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, like the Genius and Rod Trongard, sort of like the
Oh,
C-level
wow.
announce
Yeah, yeah.
team, wrestling challenge, those types of things.
Right.
And he really didn't follow the current product overall in wrestling,
Yeah.
and certainly didn't follow Japan when he was active. So he didn't know the history, he didn't know the now, and it wasn't a
Wow.
good fit. But bless his heart.
Yeah.
And God rest his soul, we all loved. He was, yeah, by far the worst. Yoshitatsu was another one who wasn't good, but he was put in a tough spot because his English was good, so they said.
Yeah.
Well, he could do English commentary with you. Well, okay, being conversationally comfortable to
It's
speak to
different than,
foreigners, but then having to
yeah.
do it in a commentary setting, totally different. So not his
Right.
fault.
Mm.
But like trying to think of like who was really good. Everybody brought their own personality to it. I remember in Ring of Honor, Matt Taven did some commentary when he was injured, and he was great. I mean, that was kind of how Carino got into it, because Carino was sort of transitioning out of wrestling and started managerial and was veering into the Heenan role, and then it sort of manifested itself.
Right.
Who else? Who else was trying to think if there was, I would have loved to have done commentary with Howard Finkel.
Oh, yeah. Did he
We
ever do
did.
commentary or just ring announce, I wonder?
I think he did. If he did some, it was very little. It may have only been once or twice. I vaguely remember him mentioning something offhandedly about having done it before, but he and I hosted a bunch of episodes of Bite This together, and
Oh,
I mean, we were friends, and so we had, kind of a shtick going, and it was fun.
right.
But he would have been interesting as a
Oh, wow.
commentator.
How about,
Um,
how would you like to have announced with Lord Alfred Hayes?
I would have. I would have
That would have
loved to
been
announced
cool.
with him.
That's like your
Yeah.
childhood there, you know?
I would have gone back and said,
Wow.
I couldn't believe that you slapped Sir Oliver Humperdinck in the face like that. How dare you?
Oh,
He
yeah.
came back a rooster and he was a changed man and you slapped him in the face for it. Bobby Jaggers was there. What a big jerk. But he said, Kevin, I don't have any recollection of what you're talking about.
If you could see me right now, Kevin,
Yeah.
you'd be like, oh, my God. I have a ottoman in front of me with my
Yeah.
feet up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is like the perfect little setup right here. Because you know what? I'm just sitting here just having a conversation with my boy, you know?
That's
That's
it.
what this
That's what
whole
we
show
do.
is designed for. It's perfect.
That's right. So we're glad that all of you have joined us, and those of you across the world. Sunday nights, 8 o'clock, of course. That means it's lunchtime for our boy Southern Joe in the Southern
Oh yeah,
Hemisphere. So our mates down in
Australia, the down
Australia,
under.
yeah, they're having a good time and enjoying probably a what's the beer that they drink?
Guinness?
Oh,
No,
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 that's
that's
Ireland.
England. Oh, it's Ireland.
Damn it,
Okay.
blah, blah, blah. I'll think of it. It'll pop into my head.
He's gonna have to
Probably
pull
too.
over on the side of the road. I listened to your interview you did with him on his podcast.
Was good? Did you like
Yeah,
it?
I learned some I don't remember it now, but at the time I said, "Oh, you know what? I didn't know that about Kevin. Some stuff I didn't know. And I found out, some interesting stuff."
Yeah. There's
Yeah. This
every once in a while I pull out a couple of gems, and I swear on my kids, I don't embellish, I don't lie. I might get a fact or two wrong about the story, but pretty much
Yeah.
it's in the right
Yeah.
direction. And yeah, so all of those interviews are fun because the interviewee comes to me with different questions, and therefore it gets me off going in a
Right.
different direction.
The thing I did his too, and my hardest thing is with doing, especially the Ireland and Australia, the accent. I do like, huh? What'd you say? What, what was that? I did the clip on him. Huh?
Huh?
What'd you say? I
Huh?
did one for a kid. He literally was a kid. I didn't realize it when I did it. It was Keaton, Kayfabe Keaton was his name, from Ireland. He was 13, 14 years old. And I tell you what, Kevin, and I've done probably 100 podcasts on different people's shows in the last year, right? This is probably one of the better ones I've done.
At
Believe it or
13 years old he was, huh?
I swear, he wrestles. Maybe he wrestles. I'm like, you wrestle? He's like, yeah. I said, when you? He said, I've been wrestling 3 years. I started when I was 10. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
No,
And he's like,
seriously.
I said, do you wrestle men? Or he's not. Oh, the oldest person he wrestled was 17 years old. I guess they start off younger, and this actually not backyard stuff. It's actually in auditoriums and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I guess they grow. You might be able to explain it better than I can.
I can, because I'm a huge fan of it. It is the junior
okay.
program, and the junior program
Oh.
is in wrestling schools all across England. I'm not sure when it started, but it is like if the business had a name, it would be After School Wrestling.
Wow.
That's really what it is. So let's say school lets out at 3, the junior program starts at 3:30 and it goes until like 5. And the parents pick up the kids, or the kids go ride home on their bikes, or they walk home, or whatever.
Yeah.
And they start young, not with taking bumps and doing matches, but conditioning, right? And learning what you have to do in order to be successful. And then it's a little bit of amateur, and then it becomes a little catch, and then it becomes moving and grooving and starting to do some spots. By the time the kids are 13, 14 years old, if they've been in it since they, whenever they could start, they've got 3 or 4 years of not experience under their belt, but 3 or 4 years of being around it.
Well, yeah, I mean, just learning the movements, not necessarily wrestling full matches. He says he's wrestled a handful of matches,
right?
But nothing, huge. And I was just like, that would have been really cool if I was growing up and it was that way,
Right.
Oh, we have some.
So it's a pain in the ass running this thing, right? Because you're dealing with kids, and it's bad enough with adults running a wrestling school, but these are kids who are psyched out of their mind when they see a wrestling ring, and they want to go crazy and jump up and down on it. If anybody's ever hosted a birthday party at a wrestling school, you know what it's like. Or if you got booked on a wrestling wrestling birthday party, It's a nightmare,
The
right?
shits sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. But so anyway, Gabe Kidd, who is a New Japan wrestler who has also been in AEW as of late, and Gabe's profile has gone higher and higher over the last few years. He's from Nottingham in England, and he
Okay.
started in the junior program there. And
No.
basically he had been wrestling for like 15 years when I met him.
Wow.
And he had gone as far as he could go, as far as what he was able to learn. Then he wanted to learn
Right.
from Katsuyori Shibata, and Shibata, like Jesus, said, "Follow me." But he had to unlearn everything that he had learned over the past 15 years and do it Shibata's way.
Mm,
So he had to retrain his brain and his body to wrestle the
right.
Shibata way. He did. He's gotten really good and is probably a world champion within the next 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
He's freaking amazing. But what a story, right? Like starting as a kid
Yeah.
and being a full-grown man and having like a decade plus of experience under your belt.
Yeah. And the kid asked me, he's like, "Hey, what advice do you give?" I said, "Honestly, go to college, bro.
Yeah.
Don't do this shit." He's like,
Mm-mm.
it kind of like popped his bubble, I guess. But I'm like, dude, I said, 20 years from now, you're gonna wake up in the morning and be like, oh man, your knees hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You walk hunched over. I mean, A to Z, you have all the issues and everything. I said,
Right.
then I said, it doesn't mean that you're gonna make it. Yeah, did I have a career? Sure, sure. What degree of success? I guess that's to the eye of the beholder, but it's not the best person gets the job. You know,
Right.
it's the luckiest person sometimes. The right
It,
spot,
it
right place, right time.
it
You know.
gives you the opportunity to have a lottery ticket that
Oh
might
yeah.
or might not cash. Um, and again,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I worry about with kids that young, and I have recommended starting junior programs. I know they've got one now at the Monster Factory. There are other
Really?
schools who have junior Yeah, they
Wow, I'm out
again,
of the loop.
it's starting to become a thing because after school activities, a lot of kids, you know, the organized sports thing. If you're
Mm-hmm.
not in the clique, you're not going to get any playing time with whatever sport, if it's lacrosse or football or whatever. You
I
got to
guess
be
it's
in the
safer
clique,
than backyard wrestling. At least you're
very
being
much so.
trained properly and
And it's cheaper because Chase wrestled amateur, but
yeah.
if you want to outfit your kid with hockey gear, lacrosse
Oh
gear,
yeah.
football gear, it's a couple $300.
Yeah.
And wrestling doesn't need that. It's
Yeah.
a pair of shoes. Um, and even then, you can take them off and wrestle in your socks. It's a great
Yeah.
way to
Yeah.
blow off steam and get a little exercise, which every kid needs. All adults need too. The only thing that I worry about is kids taking bumps because their
Yeah.
brain is goo,
Oh yeah.
and
I was thinking
kids are
bone
so
development and
yeah,
tendons and all that kind of.
that
Wow.
too.
Now,
Because
I started
just
when I was 15,
mm-hmm.
but I guess I was 15. Like I competed in powerlifting and 198-pound weight class, so I was 200 pounds, but um, still, it was it was brutal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, man, I remember. Do you remember T.S. Kane, Champagne
Yeah.
Kane?
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
he was there when I started. A guy named Bull that was part of with him and Tilly back then.
Okay.
He was the first person I got in the ring with, and I think he cracked my sternum too.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
right off the bat. Yeah, because it was like, oh, every time I take a breath, I was like, it felt like someone was stabbing me and all that. But I know
Jesus.
I did get body slammed outside the ring on, one of those 6-inch mats. Of course, I was half on, half off. My elbow was like out to here. The bursa sacs were all full. I had to get my elbow drained, and
Oh my
I was
God.
back the next week. It
Of course.
didn't bother me at all. But yeah, I couldn't imagine. You have to be really selective what you're going to teach them at
Yep.
10 years old.
right?
Wow.
Because you don't want them whacking their head, God forbid. And a lot of parents now are afraid to get their kids involved in contact sports like football and even soccer.
Mm.
Because again,
Yeah.
heading the ball
Oh yeah.
supposedly can lead to, and this is talking with Chris Nowinski about this stuff, the number of concussions that's been on the rise with
Yeah.
teenagers. It goes with the contact.
Yeah. I was a
There is
very, very high level soccer player back in the day. And
really,
yeah, believe it or not, that's what I should have done was soccer. I was really, really well. I was a goalie and I was very aggressive
ah,
and it's a lot of geometry, learning to cut off the angles and everything. And I knew how to
mm-hmm,
cut the angles off and all that kind of stuff really well. And I was really, really good. And Orlando used to have a it was back. This is back in the 80s, late 80s. They had the American Soccer League. They had, I think it
mm-hmm,
was the Orlando Lions was what they were called. And I knew some of the players. I knew the coach, and their keeper, their goalie, broke his leg in like 3 spots. He was from Scotland, and they're having tryouts. And the coach was
ooh,
like, "Hey, why don't you try out for the team?" The coach of the team, and I was 15, 16 years old. And I wanted to wrestle. And
uh,
so, yeah, I probably should have went out there and played
yeah, but
soccer.
what kind of life is that? I mean, just taking balls to the face.
Yeah.
Wait, not
Ugh.
that. Ew. But yeah, so so wrestling is one of those things that can be controlled
Right.
because of what it is. It's difficult to play soccer without heading the ball. It's difficult to play football, even flag football, without there being contact.
Right.
Amateur wrestling, if you're going to take down, if you're going to, pick guys up and put them down, yeah, that can happen. But you don't have
Amateur
to leave your
wrestling's rough.
feet,
I mean, Chase, he would have his head would be swelled up they headbutt all the time. I
right?
mean, all kinds of stuff. Yeah,
But you could just
he got, ooh,
you could just chain. You
yeah,
could just stand and chain and never leave your feet,
yeah,
and you're blown up doing it for five
sure,
minutes and sweating like crazy. And it's like, wow, that's a tremendous amount of exercise. Well, yeah.
yeah.
So
The first thing they want to learn is when they get there, even like the grown-ups, they want to get in the ring and let me hit the ropes and do this. And, it's not that easy. And
nope.
so I imagine how hard it is to keep those kids' attention to learn the stuff before like when I started, you had to work your way into the ring.
Tell
It
me
wasn't
about
just
that
like,
because I was just going to ask you, did you guys get to jump in the ring and jump up and down right away, or did you have to work into that? So
no, you worked
please.
into it. You were outside the ring chain wrestling, just like you're saying. You're learning how to lock up. I must have spent an hour the first couple weeks, about an hour just learning how to lock up properly. And I can't tell you how many times. Doesn't it seem so simple locking up, right? Boom,
Right.
collar, elbow, lock up. How many times I got poked in the eye, hit in my nose, little things like, just learning how to do all that stuff. Like I remember and then we worked our way, through all the moves and then you started adding stuff on where you could chain wrestle. Then you learn on the mats out there how to take the bump after
Mm-hmm.
a little bit and stuff like that. Eventually you worked your way in there and then you got to start hitting the ropes and taking the bumps in the ring and all that stuff. So, but I see some of these videos where they're hitting the ropes and someone slides a pad in for them to take a backdrop. And I'm like, oh, and you make a comment on one of those videos, and you have all these internet people attack you,
Right.
talking shit about you when you say something and all that. It's just crazy. But yeah, we had to
I
work our way into the ring. We just didn't start off in the ring.
right. And kids and adults too, because adult fantasy camps are a lot of fun and a good moneymaker for
Yeah.
schools because you get, 8 or 10 buddies like a bachelor party or something, and they all want to jump off the top rope until they actually do it and they realize how much it
Ah,
hurts.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, and it's so the enthusiasm wanes quickly, but Then they wake up,
Yeah.
and a lot of it is, too, like they get the welts on the sides from hitting the
Oh, good
ropes the
gosh,
first
yeah.
time. Yeah, and
You get a
that's
bruise. You have three bruises. Doop, doop, doop.
oh, every time I
Yeah.
would do that, I would just get like this huge purple under my arm.
After you wrestle long enough, you built up a tolerance. I don't want to say
Yeah,
calluses, but sort of like a callus, but it's not visible. You're used to the
internal,
conditioning of feeling it, and then you go in there for the first time afterwards, and it looks like you've been like ripped up all over the place.
right?
I saw some videos of something where someone went in there and it looked like he blew his pec out because hitting the ropes, you know, getting all that and, rope burn and stuff like that. It's
Yeah,
just, woo, yeah, that stuff's brutal.
but to his credit, he was hitting the ropes correctly.
Oh yeah,
Just the
yeah,
one,
you can
just the one
tell.
arm over the top, not the
Yeah,
flat back against. Oh, because if that rope
yeah.
breaks, as we've talked about,
Oh yeah.
by the way, from Southern Joe, Mike Manson says good day. Good day, Mike.
Oh,
Yeah, I had to send a shout out Mike's way on the pod.
there you go. What's up,
Another
Mike?
legendary, yeah, just so much good talent in Australia. Guys
Mm,
that had just been kicking around and might get a break, could get a break, so and so, if things fell the right way.
yeah,
And for a lot of guys, it just didn't happen. But for the select few, again, like a talent like Rhea
sure.
Ripley is always going to stand out. Somebody that,
Yeah,
she's undeniable. Forget it.
right.
And it's a different world we live in now. Here's a question. I don't know if you can answer this. How do the WWE superstars fly all over the world and then come back and wrestle and do well functioning when they've flown like to Perth, Australia, and then they fly back and they're in LA and they do Raw and then they go to New York the next day and then England? How do they do
Right.
it? Do they take drugs? Or is it like
Sure.
hitting the ropes? They just condition their bodies.
No, traveling. I remember going on little trips and like, man, I'm not built for this anymore. Driving. I did something. I went up to my daughter's in Georgia, went somewhere else. I had like 3 days in a row. I was traveling, 6,
Mm-hmm.
7 hours each day, and I'm like, man, I'm not conditioned for that. It's all about being conditioned. Being able to get up, go through the airport, pack your bags. It's a whole. It's just not one thing. Everything has to fall into place. I'm sure 90% of all the wrestlers have a routine they use every time they travel. They do stuff the
Yeah,
same way every time. I'm sure you probably did when you traveled. That
I did. And I guess I got conditioned to a certain extent because I would look forward to landing in Tokyo. And when we
yeah,
would fly into Narita, I would make sure that when I got to the hotel, the Tokyo Dome Hotel, I go to the 7-Eleven next door. I'd get a gallon of water. I get a couple of like Gatorade things. It was called Pocari Sweat. It was just like a really good
hmm
electrolyte drink. A couple of that, a couple of like seltzers,
right,
um, and then drink all of that as much as I could and go to sleep early. Wake up the next
yeah.
day and kind of feel normal. But man, I don't know. It made me
Yeah,
crazy
you have to
though.
realize the lifestyle is kind of conducive for that travel because they're up late, so they're out and they're getting messed up out in the bar drinking. I don't know if it's as much as they was back in my
Yeah, I
day
don't
because a
know.
lot of they probably go back to the hotel and play video games now. You know,
I
all the
you know
guys
I
instead of
think
going
that's
out to the
always.
bars and stuff.
I think they don't they all smoke weed now? Isn't that the thing?
I would imagine. I think they're
Yeah,
allowed to smoke weed now. I don't think they test for weed anymore.
I know
I
in
don't think that's on
AEW
the.
it's fuck everybody smokes weed. It's crazy.
Yeah. Do they have do they drug test at AEW or
They
no?
they had hired a second doctor who was so not Doc Samson, but the other guy was going to be the one to administer the drug tests. So he could be the heel and not Doc Samson.
Uh,
And that was going to happen a couple of weeks after when I got sacked. So,
right.
um,
Hmm.
but I didn't have a chance to
Interesting.
stooge it off to anybody. I would have smarten all the boys up. The drug tests are coming. I didn't get a chance to. I'd have talked to that Orange Cassidy fella, that guy that's on all the beans, all the magic beans. That Darby Allin.
They do a lot of psychedelical things.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
but the marijuana is a frequent herb. It's
sure.
frequented.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it.
That's even back in the day. It was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
you taking a selfie?
Notification. No, I was looking at notification.
Gotcha.
eBay.
Ooh, how are we doing?
Yeah. Oh well, we'll find out in a few hours.
Damn, I gotta wait a few hours. I don't like this.
I know. But,
so of course, over the past year, we've delved into our time respectively that crossed over when you were in WCW and I was in WWE. One of the first stories that we talked about was something that somebody wrote on Twitter, and I think it was it Brian Solomon, the author? He I think it was him who said, tongue in cheek, I miss when the guy would just incessantly ring the bell.
I saw something like that. Oh, yeah. And here we go. That was me.
I was like, I got the guy for the job. And that was on that crazy.
Absolutely.
Next week we were going to get into, because this week's anniversary week, so let's get into your favorite, whatever you think is the best Nitro. And there's a couple of really good candidates I thought of, like off the top of my head, and one of them was one of those outdoor shows, because it was so like, wow. And they freaking dropped the cow on those, man. They were hot-shotting like mad on those shows.
Yeah.
And there you were, perched high above.
Ding, 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 ding. I was three scaffoldings high above everyone. It was a pretty cool concept. I will talk more about it next week probably, but it was a really cool concept watching them, because I was really involved in watching the behind the scenes. Our call time was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or 12. I think it was 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to be there all day and we had absolutely nothing to do. So I would just watch, some people would just go sleep. I would sit out there and watch watch them set everything up and the production of it all and everything. And it was really interesting and fascinating to me how it all come to. But what really was interesting was watching when they had that first Nitro on MGM outside the front gate, and how they built the little stadium and everything. I thought it was really, really cool. And I was thinking, the feeling you get when you're at the matches like that, and this like the sound and everything from when I used to go, and the smell and all that. I was just thinking about that the other day. It was just like it was so powerful. Just thinking about all that stuff and everything. It's
there is a mildewy comfort that I get every once in a while. I'll be somewhere and it's like, it smells like a wrestling ring. Like, this thing has been outside. It's just been absorbing water and sweat for decades. And it kind of smells, but it smells good. And it's a familiar smell. It's like, oh, Grandpa smoked cigars, and I smelled a cigar. I used to hate it when I was a kid, and then it's like, oh, I smelled one the other day, and it reminded me of him. Oh.
There's two things this week that came to my mind, and was nothing of importance. This stuff that comes in and out of my head. One was when we did all the TV at MGM and Disney and stuff like that. There is no catering at all.
What?
I had no water for you, nothing. And I remember, and we're out there for 10 hours a day, because we're doing 3 shows. So, finally we end up saying something to Paul Orndorff, like, Paul, man, can, you get us some chips or something?
Yeah.
He came in the next day and was like, here, guys, like 4 big supersized bags of Doritos. Not even individual ones, like big
Just
ones, and just threw them on the table. It's
big
like,
giant.
what?
It's not what we meant,
Yeah,
but
like,
thank
yeah,
you.
we're just gonna all grab, and of course, it was
Of
gone in 30 seconds and stuff like that. But
course.
now they have all I mean, the catering. We had catering like when we did TV out on the road. Like we did Center Stage had catering, and we're in Anderson, South Carolina, or Topeka, Kansas. We had catering there, but for some reason at Disney MGM Studios there was no catering at all, and we
And
didn't
it's
even
not
get a.
like you.
No, we did. We did get discounts eaten. We got employee discount. The employee discounts. We had, matter of fact, I don't know if you'll be able to tell. This is one of my production
Oh hell
passes we
yeah!
had to wear. It's like I'll just throw them in here.
There you go.
We had to wear those back in the day, and then so we had that.
Oh, that's Nitro with full access.
Yeah, I
Damn.
had that. I had that stuck on something for years. I just took it off and put it on here. I mean, everything. I've just been setting up some stuff and everything, and found a pack of frames, and so let
Is
me
your
throw the
neck
stuff in there.
is your neck all jacked up?
Oh yeah, oh
You
yeah. Oh, you can tell when
you
I
have
move.
yeah. You can't turn your head very well?
Here, this is me. I'm going to turn my head to the right as
Yep.
far as I can. Ready?
Yep. Oh
I'm
my
going to the left.
gosh. Oh my
That's it.
gosh.
Now I'm going to go up. Now I'm going to go down. I can go down. Up
Ugh.
is
No.
hmm, yeah. So let's start a kids wrestling program
There you
for 10-year
go.
olds.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now
This
what
is
can
why I
they
say
do
go
for
to college.
Yeah. What can be done? What
It's what they
have you
did. They did it. That's what they did. They
so that
fused it all.
Oh.
I had a level 4 fusion. They fused. They did what's called a fusion cage. They took
Mm.
and because everything in my neck, basically, um, if you say you have 10 vertebrae in your neck, about 7 of them were done. So they
Wow.
put cages around all of it, and they did 4 of them, where they spaced it out 4 of them. And what they did is they were all over the place. They brought them all back together where my head would be straight and not all like hunched over like this or anything. They made it
Wow.
where my head can go straight and stuff like that. But I can't go back any further. This is hot, as far as I can go. But
Mhm.
it's the price you pay to live in your dream, I guess.
Yeah.
Being a being a wrestler.
How are your
So,
shoulders?
um, they're not bad. I've always
No?
had my shoulders have always been really good. I'm having one that's giving me a little bit of problems, but for the most part, they're not bad. But I have an arm that falls asleep every night when I'm sleeping. If I don't sleep like the right way, or if I sleep too long, it falls asleep and it goes numb. And those fingers at the end were they're like they feel like they're on fire down here, like
Mhm.
about an inch of the digits on all the fingers are on fire. And I'll be laying in bed and I'll be doing like elongating my neck and
Yeah.
stretching it to try to get circulation. You know how like when you're sitting on the toilet and your legs fall asleep, so you lift it like
Yeah.
this to get a little blood flow and wake the leg up.
Yeah, you're playing Candy Crush and all of a sudden it's an
So
hour.
going to that actually is a little segue into my next story. So I remember wrestling for WWF. Ah, man, it was in the early 90s, 91, 92, 93, somewhere around there. And I remember my back was jacked, like out of whack. And for some reason, I always thought Jumping Jim Bronzel was a chiropractor. And
Okay.
I think I heard the name Jim. He's like, no, it was Jim Hill. It was the Ultimate Warrior. Used to be a
Ah.
chiropractor. So uh, he's like, hey, come, well, he's adjusted me before. So he took me, and the Ultimate Warrior gave me an adjustment right there in the locker room one time.
Really?
So, yeah. I just, for some reason, I was sitting there and Bronzo was talking about it, and I'm like, oh, that's right. I totally,
Yeah.
I totally forgot about it. It's one of those things that just came back to me. That's one of the other things that of non-importance that I remember this week.
No, that's
But
that's
yeah,
good
yeah,
though, because you
it's
got
cool.
yeah. So wait, the Ultimate Warrior gave you
Cracked
an,
all my bones.
a chiropractic adjustment.
Yes, yes, and you
Did
could
you
feel it
now?
all the way to my toes.
Yeah. Did he give you the towel around the neck and that deal, the pull, or?
No, no, but he did all the other stuff. But I've had that done before,
Mm-hmm.
and my neck was just before my surgery. My neck was really just jacked. Right, it felt like my head was about this big. It felt like I had a 10-pound weight on my head, like a bowling ball up there. And so we were in Vegas at the U.S. Open National, the big U.S. Open National Wrestling Tournament for my son. I had everyone from young kids all the way through Olympic wrestlers were there, Olympic gold
Wow.
medalists and everything. Everyone was there. And when they have that, it's really cool because they have all the vendors there and the free stuff and all that. Well, one of them was a chiropractor. So they're like, yeah, they thought I was just like one of the wrestlers, coach or something, right? Because I had all the backstage credentials I snagged from, one of the coaches,
Mm-hmm.
all the U.S. Army was there, and they're all buddies with my son. It's called the WCAP, World Class Athlete Program. They're part of the
Okay.
U.S. Army, but they get paid to wrestle. And one of the guys was, his name's Spencer Mango. He's a 3-time Olympian. He was buddies with Chase, and he came when Chase was probably 10 or 11 years old. Came and stayed at our house for about a week just to fish with Chase. And I took him out, my old partner, wrestling partner, I took him out
Mm-hmm.
on his boat, and he thought it was this guy's like 29 years old. He thought it was Chase's friend because they're both the same height and everything. The
Oh my
guy's like
God.
really short. Yeah, he wrestles 57 kilos, like 120 pounds, 121
Okay.
pounds or something like that. And this is a little guy. He's like, oh, because we went to eat, and he's like, oh, I'll take a beer. And he's like, what are you talking about drinking a beer? He's like, I'm 29 years old or 27 years old. He's just a really cool guy. So I got his credentials. And so I went there, and they did that thing where they put it around your head. They had like a device, and they're like, just relax. And someone was holding my legs, and I felt everything from my top of my head to my ass. This, I'm like, oh my! And it was the loudest sound. You sound like when you're at a baseball game and someone hits a grand slam, just
Mm-hmm.
knocks it out of the park. That sound
Yeah,
the
that
ball against the
sweet
bat, the
hits the
pop.
sweet spot of the bat. Yep.
Yeah, that was my neck. And they're like, whoa! Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Here's something. Just we'll
Okay.
give Comic Book Bob there the old Shoutsky. Thank you, Bob. Have we ever heard of Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling? That's a company run by Paul Roma and Mario Mancini.
Well, I know Paul
knew,
Roma
and I knew Paul
and I
Roma
know
trained
Mario.
guys.
Yeah.
I know. I've never met Mario. Actually, I've never met Paul either. But
Oh, I used to play cards with him.
yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
He was in sales, so I used to work at a computer distribution company. They had a small warehouse. They were, kind of small potatoes, so they've grown exponentially over the last few years. Anyway, Paul Roma was a vendor rep. He was a rep for a
Wow.
company, and
Yeah.
some of the staff from D&H met Paul, and one lady in particular who was a fan of his from wrestling, she got an autographed picture of him. So
Oh
I
wow.
was like, "Oh, there's Paul Roma," and she's like, "You know him?" I said, "Yeah, of course. He's a big star."
Yeah.
But I knew Paul was training, and I
I
did
knew
not
they
know
had
the
a.
name of the school.
Right. I didn't know the name of their organization. I knew they did stuff together. I did. Mario does a podcast with a guy from Ireland, Maurice, and I did their podcast with both of them on there.
Very cool.
So. Yeah, but
when you
he talks a lot about Paul.
excellent. When you so now you've got a straightened back because you had Spencer Mango's credentials and you got in the front of the
Yeah.
line and they popped you. Okay, but
Oh yeah.
did that hurt you more than it helped you because your neck
No,
was
I felt incredible for a day.
mm-hmm for a
I
day?
felt great for about a day. Yeah, but
Yeah,
my head didn't feel like it was like a bowling ball anymore. It felt like just your head being up there.
just a
People don't
normal head.
realize how heavy the human skull is with the brain and all the water and everything in there. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's like basically like a ball on sitting on a toothpick is what it's like, you know? And
Mm.
it's amazing how it all, you know, the skeleton and the body works and everything. But it's um yeah, sometimes I wake up and it feels like my head is like weighs 10, 15 pounds more than what it should.
So were you leaking what is it, synovial fluid, spinal fluid? Were you leaking from in between? Because I know Carino, when he had his neck done, that's what they told him, that his stuff was so jacked that he was leaking the spinal fluid out of the column.
Oh no, mine was gone, totally gone.
Yeah,
Like it was sort of like um you know how you're bone on bone with your knees, there's no
right.
cartilage at all. That's how my neck was. It
So
was
the
everything was just grind.
discs were completely gone.
Yeah, or it was completely blown out.
Oh, gotcha.
Like um they say they do surgery on a herniation that is like 4, 5, 6 millimeters is considered
Mm-hmm.
a pretty big herniation. Mine were like 16, 17 um, millimeters. They were monsters. My doctor's like, and I had my neurologist was a world class neurologist. He's actually the first doctor to write. Um, he's from Jamaica. First doctor to write um, prescriptions for medical marijuana in the state of Florida,
Oh,
ironically. But
coincidentally,
he,
happened to be a patient.
yeah, yeah. So but yeah, he's like, wow. He said these are big. He said no wonder stuff hurts. And
Yeah.
so I did the surgery. They aligned everything up, made it all nice and pretty, and this and that, and he's like, yeah, you're gonna. He said you're gonna have you're gonna lose some range of motion. And I'm like, how far can I go? He said, you can stretch all you want. He said, well, you're not going to get any more range of motion. It just won't go any further. He said, but it did take away a lot of the pain and the symptoms I were having. I had a lot of numbness all the time, and it took away that. So a lot of
Sure.
the nerves were unpinched and stuff like that.
And you got
So,
taller
but
from having this surgery, right?
um, I guess that's a possibility.
Yeah, because
I don't
instead of, like you said, you were kind of leaned over,
right,
you
but
know,
see,
you're,
no, that was my neck. My back, I still lean over because of my back. My
well,
neck is
yeah,
straight now, but my
neck
back,
is
because
straight.
I still, yeah, I have herniations in my back also that I have probably, I think 5 or 6 in my back that are really big ones, but I refuse to have back surgery unless it's like I've known people who's walked in, had back surgery, and did backflips leaving, right? Like no
Yeah.
problem at all. Then I known someone that went in there. I give you an example. Hogan had back surgery. One's turned into 2, 3, 4, 10, 15. I had a friend of mine I went to high school with. I played football with, and he had back surgery, and then had another one, another one. Next thing you know, they ended up putting a morphine pump in him for all the pain he was in. It's
Oh,
just sometimes it works and it's fine, and sometimes it comes out bad. Like the neck, they're pretty good on. The back, it's to me, it's just too risky, too scary.
right.
And you know what? I can deal with the issues I have, but it's yeah, it's I'm not gonna have a back surgery.
No. And
I've heard too many horror stories. I'm
oh
sure you
yeah.
have too with all the boys in the business and stuff.
Well, sure. I mean, you see them. And you know, you see the end results of I don't want to say botched surgeries because that's not what it is, but the
No, it's
surgery
just
that
it is
can't,
what it is, basically.
it doesn't fix the problem.
Right.
And you wind up, basically chasing that forever promise of, health and healing, but
Yeah.
it's never there.
Yeah.
Just think about it in our lifetime, in our wrestling career lifetime. We've gone from open invasive spinal surgery
Yeah.
to now arthroscopic type surgery
Yeah.
where they could go in here and fix the neck this way, they could fuse it that way, they could fuse it different ways, they can do discectomies,
Yeah.
and wrestlers can get back years if they're not obviously 16 millimeters out of whack.
Yeah.
Jesus. And when you have, it's kind of like the cartilage surgeries that used to happen. Oh, you wreck your knee
Yeah.
when you were a football player in the 60s, you were done.
Right.
Now
Yeah.
you're out 2 to 3 weeks and you're
Yeah.
back. What'd they do? Oh, they
Yeah. I've had
shaved off a little bit of this.
I had my last knee surgery I had. Um, they were worried about. I have very big tonsils and uvula and everything.
That's nice of you.
Yes, he did shrink. So they were worried about. What did you guys think? Oh, the Alex Wright match with Paul Roma. Yeah, it's a whole another podcast
That's an
right there talking
episode.
about
Yeah.
Paul Roma and yeah. I think Alex Wright could have whooped his ass if he wanted to, if he
Really?
knew better. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
No.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the
So
way you don't handle business that tells people all you need to know about them.
yeah,
If you're the guy in charge. Um,
right.
so when you were, so you had knee issues as
Oh,
well?
oh yeah. I have no cartilage in my knees. They're bone on bone. They said my last surgery is like if you're 10 years older, and this was about 10, 13 years ago, somewhere in there. He said you're 10 years older, I'll do a complete replacement on you. He said you have no cartilage at all. And so they instead of put me under, with the tube and everything, they decided to um, just give me an epidural where I was
Because of
numb
your
from the waist down,
because of
and
your
they would
uvula.
yeah, and how I'm sitting in the chair like this
Mm-hmm.
was pretty much I'm on the table and they lean me up like this, put pillows behind me, and they said we're gonna just give you light sedation, right? And so you won't remember or what's going on, but you won't be out, so we won't have to put you intubate you or anything, right?
Right.
So I'm like, okay. Well, during my surgery, I'm like hearing I'm like, why did I hear Tony Schiavone talking and stuff like that? Well, apparently during my knee surgery, my doctor and his whole operating room were watching YouTube videos of me wrestling, and I could
No
hear it
wonder why he's
because
so
I wasn't
bad. No wonder
completely
why.
under.
No.
I wasn't completely under. I was just sedated with a twilight. And
Oh my God.
but apparently they take your knee and they jack that thing all over the place and the way they, get in there to clean it all up and everything. But
Mm.
yeah, I was like, man, that was weird having a surgery in here and Tony Schiavone talking the whole time.
That's heaven. You died. You died and gone to heaven. Tony Schiavone was calling your matches.
I saw something the other day about Tony Schiavone where um someone was talking about when he did TV and Tony thought he was better than everyone and wouldn't talk to the enhancement guys unless he absolutely had to. I didn't find him to be that bad. I found him to be very busy, is what I found. He was
Yes.
in busy mode, always on the go and stuff like that. But I mean, he would say hello and stuff like pleasantries and all that, but wouldn't had no never had any big conversations with him. I did with other announcers, Scott Hudson. Um, would always have conversations with me, and ironically, Chris Cruz, which
Dude.
he doesn't like anybody. He
No.
likes me though. Yeah.
Professionally, I had no problem with Chris Cruz as an announcer, and I've never met him. But
I
yeah,
thought he
what
had a
a
good voice.
he
That
did.
it's a very distinctive voice when you heard it, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I heard him do, I guess it was NPR radio,
Oh,
and
okay.
reading. I can't remember if it was the news or if he was the host of the hour. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was somewhere for wrestling and had it on in the car, and it's like, hey, that's Chris Cruz.
Yeah.
This is
He
a
has
perfect
so much
soundtrack
heat
for a
with
wrestling trip.
everyone.
Yeah, I know. Well, he's very
I don't.
outspoken.
Yeah. Well, I guess that gets you either, you know, if you're outspoken about what they don't want to hear, they're gonna. I guess you're gonna get heat with everyone.
Yeah,
You know. I mean, I guess we could if we just told everyone. I mean, we pretty shoot it straight, but we kind of don't look to get heat on ourselves. We just, if it comes up, we talk about it, but we're not always going to come up with every. We're not like heat seekers trying to bring up controversial talk every time we're on, you know, which
correct.
some
And it's
guys, you know,
yeah,
do.
and
I guess he does.
if there is an issue that someone is particularly passionate about, like for example, if you were very anti steroids, if you were very anti drugs, then the conversations that we've had about the people that we know and the things that you've done in wrestling, it would be a completely different tone. Oh, I can't believe you did any of that. I think it's ghastly and how dare you and blah, blah, blah. And
Oh,
both of us are
talking
like,
about drugs, you want to hear? You want to hear a great story?
I do want to hear a
So,
great story.
so back when Cliff used to run Tuesdays at Fort Pierce Civic Center, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'd always go to like a school or something and do like a say no to drugs thing and trying to promote this show, right? So we'd all go up there and we're all like, drugs are bad, just say no, the whole gimmick and everything. And then Hack Myers would get up there and be like,
Oh, God.
drugs are bad. Don't do drugs, give them to me. Like, you can't say that, man. My bad, my bad. Don't do drugs, just give them to me.
Yeah, give them to me to dispose
Yeah.
of.
Meanwhile, he was
Oh,
all jacked up, fucked up when he was telling people that too.
God.
Uh,
It's like every
oh,
rock
Hack.
and roll. And that's the aspect of wrestling that I think a lot of maybe younger wrestlers don't know, realize, never got to experience, haven't yet
Oh, yeah.
experienced, is the rock and roll lifestyle. And maybe just going back to my point before of like, how do these WWE superstars handle all these time changes? It's rock and roll, man.
You have to realize you stay up for 24 hours at a time and go to
Mm-hmm.
sleep. Jet lag's not going to really do anything to you because that's how you live your life anyhow.
Right.
So you're not going to experience the jet lag of all the time zone changes and stuff like that because you don't sleep a regular schedule anyhow.
Right.
If I had a
That's
long flight,
nuts.
I would just try to stay up all the way until I got on the plane. Like if I would say, okay, what time is it going to be there when I land? Is it going to be
Mm-hmm.
morning time? Then I will sleep on the plane the whole time. That way when I get there, it's morning time. Or if it's going to be nighttime, I would stay awake and then sleep when I get there. I would try to
Mm-hmm.
adjust my schedule. And because we're in different towns, different places, up and down. Sometimes we sleep, sometimes you're up for a couple days traveling, so or sleeping in the car, so you could adjust on the fly. And I could sleep. I was lucky; I could sleep on a plane. I could sleep in a car. I can fall asleep right now talking to you on this podcast. I'll just sit here
You
and
would
be
just
dead
close
asleep.
if you closed your eyes and sat still, you could fall
Absolutely,
asleep.
I'll go to sleep. Yep. Not a
Man.
problem. I can do that. When I have our bed, it tells me how long it takes me to go to sleep. It says
Mm-hmm.
took you 2 minutes to fall asleep. I don't know how they gauge it all, but it tells
Wow.
me everything. It tells me how many times I move when I sleep, if I get up, how long I leave the bed and come back, and all that. So but yeah, it doesn't take me only but a minute or two to go to sleep.
I go with the Arn Anderson theory. It's not sleep unless you're laying flat. Because I can't I forget it. If I doze off while I'm sitting in, a chair, sitting in the couch or whatever, it's not sleep. But
Now, I used to be
sitting on the
really
plane,
bad
oh,
before. Oh, yeah, I remember before I'm like, hey, listen, I'm not messed up. I'm going to sleep. Don't wake me up. Don't ask me for anything. Wake me up when we land.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, okay. But
And the boy could sleep. God bless
I
him.
lay down, put my head up there. I always get the window where I can use the head for a
Yep.
headrest. Wedge my jacket up there and I'm out. I'm gone.
Wow. And did you have the death snore that they had to check you to make sure you were okay every once in a while?
No. When I snore, when I'm
Yeah.
talking about, I remember on a flight once, remember back the big planes where they have like outside seats and then the middle rows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on a flight and it wasn't packed. I forget, we're somewhere a long flight. All I know is I woke up and all the people around me were gone. They moved up. I snored so loud. I've had it where I'm sitting there, I'm doing like, I'm like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I think I'll wake
Oh.
myself up snoring and say, oh yeah, that's me. But I sleep with a mask on, as you
Yep.
do, and all they hear is the air. You know, is the only sound
Right.
they hear. They don't hear me making any noise at all.
No.
I'm like
What a difference.
quiet as can be.
I see those now they're selling these gimmicks, these gimmick implants instead of
Yeah,
CPAP. Instead of a CPAP machine, get this thing put into your chest. No
Chaksha.
way, man. Yeah.
Oh, I
Get
got you.
bent with
I got
that.
you a CPAP. I got you a CPAP story. So I'm up in wrestling in Chicago, and I'm staying at the promoter's house. Myself and Joe Laurinaitis.
Okay.
We're both staying there. And I remember I was on the couch. He had the basement. I was remembering I sat down. I heard click, and I'm like, oh shit! I sat on my CPAP mask and broke it in half.
Oh
So I'm like,
no.
oh, I guess I'm not gonna be able to sleep with this. So I went to sleep. I thought I was having a great night's sleep, right? He had an early flight. Like he had to get up at 5 a.m. to go, get up to leave at 5 a.m. He looked at me and
Right.
said, he looked at me and said, brother, you have a fucking problem. I'm like, what? You snore. He's like, you need to get yourself checked and get a CPAP machine. I'm like, I got one. It's broke. I kept him up the whole night snoring.
Oh, and he was
He's like,
downstairs.
downstairs. I
Oh,
snored so loud that he could hear me down there. And it's not just snoring, it's the choking. You sleep if
yeah.
someone in the room is sharing a room with or whatnot. They're snoring. If they get a rhythm, you can sleep to that rhythm, right? But when
Right.
you're like all of a sudden it's like, oh, it scares you half to death because you think the guy's
Right.
dying next to you, That's
I
how
know.
I am without my machine.
I would hit you with a boat oar, I swear. I would just
I was in college, I'd wake up with shoes in my bed because I had a college where I had two bunk beds, so four people in the room. I'd hear
yeah.
people banging on the center block walls. Wait, stop snoring.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm a very, very loud snorer. So I remember
Um
I remember once one of the boys was staying at my house. He's like, you
mhm.
live by yourself? I'm like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay, no problem. So we go in, he's like, I thought you said you lived by yourself. I'm like, I do. He's like, you lying motherfucker. Like, what do you mean? He's like, what's that? Who's snoring then? Snoring so loud. I said, oh, that's my dog. I had an English bulldog that snored like louder than anyone you ever heard in your life. The loudest snore ever. Like, oh, I'd have to put earplugs in from the dog snoring. Like, Tank, wake up! He snored so loud.
And then Tank would be like, "Casey, wake up."
Yeah, he would like come and kick me. Get up.
That's
Quit
right.
snoring. You're choking. But I was
Um
choking to death is what I was
I
doing.
know.
You know?
Cuz cuz your wind gets cut off cuz your giant tonsils and uvula and
hmm
we can't breathe, so we slowly choke to death.
And you know what's even worse than that is when I had something bad and I got acid reflux. So the
Oh.
acid's coming up as you're choking, and
This
it's
is making
bad,
me like
bad.
claustrophobic.
Yeah, you're like, this
Um
isn't a good anniversary show.
yeah, happy anniversary. Remember that
Yeah.
one time you had the shits? So obviously we're going to continue on into the next millennium. I have a
Yeah,
feeling.
year two.
Year 2, baby. We've got to get more guests. We're going to start having guests on a, not constant basis, but a more regular basis.
Maybe once a month.
Yeah. We've had, in the first year, we had Bob Cook, we had Dwayne Bruce, Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker, and the great Rob Van Dam as our guests.
Yeah.
That's not bad. It's a pretty good first year.
Guys. Oh, well.
3.
Well, Rob went from a job guy to a Hall of Famer,
Okay, but wait a minute now. Would Bob Cook get into a Hall of Fame? If there was a wing of the Hall of Fame for jobbers?
I would think so.
Yeah.
I think Bob...
How about yeah, Bob would be in. How about Dwayne Bruce, Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker?
I put it this way, and you might have seen this, and you're watching wrestling throughout the years, you've noticed it too.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen a lot of job guys that were really the shits. Like you cringe when you see them, and sometimes you like seeing it because it's going to be such a bad car wreck.
Right.
Oh my God, these guys suck so bad. This is going to be great because someone's going to beat his ass or something, right? But Sarge isn't like that. Sarge was a good hand, and
he was right. He was the he would give the over guy a competitive match, or you would have 2 guys or 4 guys at Sarge's level, and they would put TV time in to get the show back on time, or they would go to a time limit draw.
Yeah.
And then they would have that match on the houses.
What would be the criteria for an enhancement guy Hall of Fame? Would you put guys that I took some incredible squash matches that really elevated guys. I mean, is that like a criteria? You know what I'm saying? It would be an interesting criteria. What you think people what you look for to be in the enhancement, the extra Hall of Fame.
So in Bob Cook's column, to put him in the Hall of Fame, I would say it's consistency and longevity, right?
Yeah.
Like a George South. George South would get into the Hall of Fame under the same criteria as Bob. Then there would be you, who would be in consideration for another, which is not necessarily longevity, but for spectacular moments. Okay? The Chris Hamrick bump, if you will.
Yeah.
Long before the Chris Hamrick bump, it was the Casey Thompson bump. It was something crazy and wild that you had never seen. It was taking a full, 360 off the Doomsday device.
Yeah.
It was taking the big over-the-top rope bumps, flying, doing everything you could to get the talent over.
Week. And get booked the next week too. Yeah.
Right. So I think, and then there are I would say kind of the sideshow act. There's just the freaks.
Oh. How about that guy that wrestled Spivey and Sid?
Yeah, that guy. Whatever his name was. He didn't want to put nobody over. The Mulkeys would be in that category.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were emaciated and skinny, pale, weirdo-looking guys who took
T-shirts than anyone. Yeah, Lee Scott was a referee. Yeah, Lee Scott used to stay at my house all the time.
I did not know until I saw it this week that Nick Patrick wrestled.
Yes. Did you see that match on the Mid-South match?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know he wrestled. I mean, it makes perfect sense. And he was big enough.
I think he got hurt or something. Hurt his back or something, or neck. And so, I mean, he probably was better off refereeing. He wasn't, he was okay. He was very green when the match I saw. And I forget who he's wrestling, but he's very green. And he just looked like a job guy, basically. Back.
He wrestled Ted. Was it Ted DiBiase?
Yes, it was. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, DiBiase was awesome. And what a big
Oh,
guy.
he
We
was
were
so
talking
good.
about this last week. It's huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Um,
One of the
so
best
if
angles ever in wrestling in my book was
with him and Dick
DiBiase with
Murdoch?
with Mr. R, Tommy Rich
Oh
and
yeah,
Johnny Rich, and
that
Brad
was good.
Armstrong and all that. Yeah. That was just so good.
That was
I
really
enjoyed
well
that
done.
angle.
So yeah, and then you've got to put, and somebody else mentioned, and I'll give this name absolutely, Rocky King. He was in that category of Sarge.
Yeah.
Because if there was a Rocky King versus, oh gosh, what were the brothers? Not the Batten twins. There was another set of brothers in the 80s. I'll think of their name 2:00 in the morning. Anyway, if Rocky King wrestled one of them, Rocky King would win. Okay.
Yeah.
But if it was a tag team of the two brothers versus Rocky King and a lesser job guy, the brothers would beat the lesser job guy. So Rocky King was sort of protected in that spot because they would need
I
him
told you
on
I did.
house show matches.
Yeah, I told you I did I wrestled Scott and Steve Armstrong with myself and Gangrel, Dave Heath. He was Vampire Warrior, and they took the pin on Dave because I was buddies with them. And right after it, not a month later, he was on TV as Gangrel.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's and again, just it's good to be friends, especially with the Armstrong. I bet that was a hell of a match.
Oh yeah, we had a fun time. We had a great time.
If you had
I think we
time,
had like
if
10
if
minutes.
they
I
gave
think
you,
we had
oh,
a long time.
I need to find that. I would enjoy that
I don't even
match.
think they ever aired it because they were making the Armstrongs like a white supremacist kind of group.
Oh,
They were heels. So it's hey, how about
oh,
Rusty
because of the
Brooks?
what? Rusty Brooks is in it, no
Yeah,
doubt about it.
yeah. I mean, if you wrestled Hulk Hogan on a TV match, you definitely that's deserved to be in it right there.
You were in the open for years of Superstars of Wrestling.
Well, yeah,
I mean, that
yeah.
was prime time right there. Rusty Brooks is in it. George South is in it. Bob Cook
Barry
is in it.
Horowitz.
Yeah, Barry Horowitz. I
Yeah,
don't know.
Mike Jackson.
Mike Jackson's in it.
Yeah.
Mike Jackson's
Oh,
in it.
here's one. He's a
Who? This one?
great worker. Great.
Really good. Good
Yeah,
house
great
painter
worker.
too.
Yeah. I just seen him just not too long ago.
Did you really?
Yeah, he retired from welding and super super nice guy.
Very
And
nice.
actually when I was 12 years old, I used to set up the ring in Fort Myers, Lee County Civic Center. He was there. I have a picture. I just found some of the old pictures and I had a picture and I actually was a couple inches taller than him then.
Wow. At 12
Yeah.
years old.
Yeah.
Now, Skip Young, those of you may not remember, Skip Young, for
Wow.
me, was Sweet Brown Sugar.
Yeah.
And he needed, and the gimmick was good for him because he had the lazy eye. And that always kind of affected how people perceived him as a babyface. But he was talented. He wasn't a great promo, and that was the other thing. Physically gifted, amazingly talented, but not an enhancement guy.
Yeah, but I don't think I don't think he would be an enhancement. He was a territory guy. So I
Right.
think he would be kind of excluded. Even Denny Brown would be.
He's a former
I mean,
NWA World
Denny
Junior
did do a lot
champ.
of jobs, so.
He did, but he
Weird?
was the
Yeah, NWA Junior Heavyweight
yeah.
Champion. Yeah.
Well, that's like saying Brady Boone. Brady Boone wasn't a job guy. Brady Boone put people over, but he was always on the verge of getting a push, Battle Cat, whatever, and was used all the time.
I think that's who I did my match with LOD with. I think Brady Boone was my partner in that
Yeah.
match. Yeah.
They're going to beat you in that. I can't believe the Armstrongs beat Vampire War. I can't believe they beat Dave Heath with the
Yeah.
real vampire teeth and everything.
Yeah, he was my. I was buddies with. I was buddies with all of them though.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
I was buddies with the Armstrongs. I used to wrestle with them all the time. Wrestle for them and
You
all
went
that.
worked for him in Alabama, sure.
Right? Yeah.
So there was a guy in Memphis, Jim Jeffers, definite regional territory guy, Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know the name.
And then you'd look at a name like a Mario Mancini, somebody like that,
Yeah, yeah.
WWF. But then you
Yeah.
got S.D. Jones and Johnny Rods and Jose Luis
Aren't they in the
Rivera.
real Hall? Aren't they in WWE Hall of Fame already?
Rods is, SD is. I think they stopped it at that. But then you look at somebody like Raul Mata, for
Oh
example,
wow, yeah.
who was a great talent, but was a job guy in Florida.
Right.
But he had a career in California where he had gotten pushed. He wasn't a main eventer, but he was something, and he was kind of winding down his career in Florida. But he was on TV like almost every week, putting somebody over.
You know what? You know what was really interesting when I used to do jobs with the WWF? I'd go up there and Pistol Pez Watley was a job guy up there.
Mm-hmm.
Black Bart was doing jobs up there, and
Damn.
like Sam Houston.
Right.
Sam Houston he's a job guy, always a job guy that gave a title to give credibility. They give him credibility, give him a little rub where they could use him on a house show to help draw a little bit. But
Right.
yeah, it was amazing some of the people I seen up there doing jobs with me. Like I'm like, man, I used to watch Pistol Pez Watley. He was a Southern heavyweight champion in Florida. I
Yeah.
saw him in a steel cage match against Kevin Sullivan.
He was, if you
Pez was
watched,
great, though.
right, if you watched 85 Crockett TV, Shaska Watley was involved with Paul Jones and Baron von Raschke in the angle that would never end.
Kendall Windham was there doing jobs with us before.
Kendall Windham.
Yeah.
He was, not a job guy. Trying to think of
a lot
of
times they would put his matches they put him in a tag team where the other guy would take the pin and he would get over, or he'd do a singles match against someone and it would be, a 50-50 match and he would put the guy over. It's not like they would just like totally just job him out.
Or we're getting into, so the babyface shine, it's all Kendall, then the heat starts, then the angle starts. And they'd wind up throwing the match out. You'd forget that it was a Kendall Windham match, but Kendall Windham would look good enough because, again, they used him on the road. And they never wanted to beat those guys into powder on TV.
Right.
So they would take care of him. I'm trying to go around the horn here and thinking of different, guys like Gordon Nelson and Reggie Parks, in Florida, classic wrestlers from another era, but were job guys. What about Rip Rogers? Now, does Rip Rogers, is he in the Enhancement Guy Hall of Fame? I kind of think so.
He has to be. I mean, I watched him in the territories as an like semi-main event in Florida. Him and
Lady Maxine.
Lady Maxine, yeah. Bugsy was in all those angles and stuff with him.
Right,
but
right.
Then, he was there every week doing jobs with us in WCW.
Yeah, and before, so he was a little bit over here. He was a little bit over here. He was working with the Poffos early in his career, and did some stuff. Did stuff in Puerto Rico. He was working constantly. He wrestled all over. He did stuff in the Maritimes for Emile Dupree. He wrestled in Calgary. He was everywhere. But I think he's in the Enhancement Guy Hall of Fame, and a hell of a trainer too. Fantastic.
Oh yeah, yeah. He looks a little strange now when you see him.
Yes.
Every time I see him, I'm like, it just doesn't look right. It's like the look is odd to me.
I mean, those peaks are insane for
I saw a picture of Hogan with his son, with Nick, and I looked at Hogan. Hogan, big head, huge fist,
Mm-hmm.
big mitts, right? But the face was big, but the whole body, the skeleton was all just like it just
Mm.
looked nothing like him. I mean, I guess it was right before he passed away, but I even
Yeah.
zoomed in on the picture and everything, and I was just like, man, it's like you can tell his body just was deteriorating. I mean, right in front of you. I mean, it
Yeah.
was like, wow, it was something to see the
I'm
picture. I was
looking
just like,
forward to.
wow.
I want to get to that stage of life where I'm starting to wilt away, starting to deteriorate, and I finally like get to my goal weight. It's like, oh, I finally did it. I got the
Yeah, one
wasting
way or another, it's
disease.
going to happen eventually.
That's true. Um, so if we, I'm trying to think of I can't think of any Texas TV jobbers. Um,
Yeah, that's true. I'm sure we have some Texas people that watch it that will let us know about it, but um, man,
Jim Jeffers was the Memphis guy, but what were those twins? They weren't twins. They were brothers, and I think it was Jeffers too. I got to look it up. Anyway, we could do this for hours, and in fact, we probably will do this for hours at some other point. But happy anniversary, Casey. Thanks for a fun
oh,
year.
oh, you too, Kevin. This is it it seems like it's been a long time, but it went by really fast. I know that's
I
kind of
know.
oxymoronish, but it's like it seems like we've been doing this for years already, but
Yes,
it's just a
I
year.
was. I was surprised when you told me that it was a year, and I was like, "Damn, it was." That's right.
Because I happened to
Um,
look at my calendar. I knew it was in November,
yeah,
and the actual first episode was tomorrow, Monday. So this is when we're celebrating. It's today.
that's
But yeah, I had it in my calendar and I saw the notification pop up. I'm like, oh shit, let me shoot you a text and see what you think
yeah.
on.
So 1 year down and many more to go.
Yeah,
I got to wrap this edition up because I got to be up early.
I know.
I
You're
know, man.
liking
It's
the
like
new schedule, right?
I love it. I love it because I sleep 3 hours at a clip. I'll go to bed. I'll go to bed by 10. I'll wake up at 1.
Oh, okay.
I'll be up for a little while. I'll fart around and then I'll go back to bed. And then I'll sleep until 4.
Oh wow.
And
Oh wow.
I'm perfectly fine. Like that's how the years and the jet lag and everything else has kind of messed my sleep up. That's where I'm at in life.
Sure. Yeah.
Um,
I go
but
to bed
anyway,
late too myself, and I get up and I'm like, oh, let's go. I get up out of bed
oh,
15 minutes before I had the clock in.
damn right. 15.
Well, I had to go from my commute is long. I had to go from
Yeah.
one bedroom. I was close. I was next door, but now, I moved my bedroom to the other side of the house, so I had to go all the way across the whole compound to get to the office. It's brutal. It takes me 30 seconds.
I know
And that's
these,
stopping to go to the
listen,
bathroom too
first world
and brush my
problems,
teeth.
right?
But I'm working right
Um,
now. I'm working those 9 to 9 hours because
yeah,
open enrollment for insurance.
that's it, baby. All
Yep.
right. Well, that's going to do it for this 1 year anniversary edition of the In Ring Wrestling Podcast. We thank everybody who joined us in the chat. We thank all of you for watching and continue to like, share, subscribe, hit that like button, and get some notifications going. So when we put up new content, you'll be the first to know. And then you can tell everybody. So
Right.
for Casey Thompson, I'm Kevin Kelly. We'll see you next week right here on the In Ring Wrestling Podcast.